Good evening and welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for Monday, October 19th, 2015. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm not used to these chairs. If you'd indulge me to take a moment of silence to reflect on our duties as servants of the town, and also to pray for the safe return of our soldiers both overseas and in the United States. Thank you. I have to note that this meeting is being recorded by the SML Cable Access and also by the Selectmen's Office, and I have to ask if anyone else is recording the meeting. Hearing none, we can proceed. The first item is the warrant articles, which we have in front of us. Although these, okay, which ones?
What you have is a summary of the articles and percenters, and then also a copy of the motion. Mr. Chairman, I put your name on all the VOS ones, not knowing exactly. I know you want to spread this out. We need to cross it through so I can get a hold of Jim Shields before the meeting.
Okay. Now we've got, this is just one, there's one copy here, right?
That's motions.
Yeah, the motions, yeah.
But this is,
No, I don't.
here, I have that right here.
Oh,
Right
okay,
there.
thanks.
I put one.
Thank you. That's it. All right, so, I don't know, I'll be happy to do 5, 6, and 7 if you guys want. It's up to you. Since they're all the same.
Yeah.
You know, they're all not the same, but they're all the same idea.
My sheet says you're gonna do all of them.
Yeah, I know, I know, Greg's a comedian. So you're a comedian, no, so you're a comedian, you got me presenting all the.
Well, no, I just didn't know which ones. 11 would be the next one we talked about,
And
that
that's-
prior to your arrival.
Right, and that's gonna be, there's gonna be no action on 11, I believe.
I'll do that one.
Okay,
What one?
okay,
There's no action?
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Article.
What one are you doing, Angela?
She's doing 11.
The no action one.
You're doing 11?
Unless anyone wanted to do 12, or? No.
I'll do 12.
All right.
So, you want to take 12?
Yeah.
I'll take 13, lucky 13.
All right.
12. Let me just, let's see.
Might as well take 14.
Yeah, I was gonna
too.
say, because 14 is,
What are you taking, Angela?
she's taking 13 and 14.
Because they're both the same.
13 and 14?
Yeah. If you want, I'll do 15. Did you want to do the building inspector's one?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 16.
Okay, you're taking 15?
Yeah. If you want, I'll do 17.
Well, 7, okay. Billy's doing 16?
Yeah.
And 17.
No, he's doing 16. Let's just see, I can do 17 if you want.
You're taking 17, Paul?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you guys can split up 18 and 19.
Okay.
Who's going to take 18?
I'll take 19.
You'll take 19?
Yeah.
All right.
So, Billy, you
And I'll take 18?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're gonna do,
I want to do 5, 6,
6, and 7, Paul?
5, 6, 7, 15, and 17.
15 and 17.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you're going to do 11, 13, 14, 19.
11, 13, 14, and 19.
And
Okay.
you're going to do 12, 16, and 18.
yep.
Thank you.
All right. For the next item, it's the retiree insurance request, which we had discussed at the last meeting, and I believe we voted to take no action on, but Karina's here to discuss with us alternatives, if you will.
Real quick, Mr. Chairman, to the board, I asked Green to be here, bring this back, not to belabor the point, but just to see what there's cost savings for this specific application for a waiver, which I think is great for the town. I know there may be a bigger reason, and when I have Jim Donahue comments on this also, but Green, if you can just explain what the savings would be, and this is something that maybe we should need to tackle as a board to look at. Do we need language in our policy that says almost the same as we did for the $10,000 is it may be waived at discretion of the board, or do we want to get into that? I think that's it. I don't have a strong recommendation, but I think Kareem could
Okay,
address
come on up, Kareem. And Jim,
this case.
Jim, we may need you too. How are you? We can't shake hands at this table. Just wave. Okay. All right. So if you, as you know, last meeting we discussed this topic and decided not to take action on it, but obviously you're here to represent it, not represent it, but represent it, and give us some information, and then we'll go to Jim.
Well, it's not really representing it as much as just maybe not address something that may not have been addressed. If we force their arm and we make them go on to the Blue Care Elect plan, it could foreseeably cost us $22,000 a year to cover their portion, our portion of that insurance plan for them to go on as well. So not only is it expensive for them, it's expensive for the town.
That's because we're paying the 50% of the.
We pay 50%, they pay 50% of the premium.
Okay.
Originally, the reason it was put into place was to avoid people from going off our plan and taking some less expensive plan that they have available to them, either through AARP or some other company that was offering insurance for Medicare supplements and things. And then when they needed our coverage to come back on, which could foreseeably, depending on which plan they go on, really drive our cost being self-insured. So that was the reasoning behind putting that policy in there. I don't think it was really so much that we wanted to tie people's hands and not allow them to be able to move across country because it was cost prohibitive or anything like that.
But will this be the case with everyone who moves away? Who doesn't qualify for Blue Cross?
Only people who don't qualify for Medicare, which
For
that number
Medicare,
is
yeah.
getting smaller and smaller. And right now, once you are eligible for Medicare, that would be, I mean, we're looking at maybe a 5-year period, 6-year period, I believe, till this particular retiree turns 65 and is eligible for Medicare. And then we see substantial savings on how much we're paying, because we get them off the active employee plan period. We're getting fewer and fewer people who will never be eligible for Medicare, because everyone hired after April 12th of 1986 is paying into Medicare. So all future retirees hired after that date will be eligible for Medicare, regardless of their spouse or anything else. They'll be eligible on their own.
Okay.
So it's just kind of caught in the middle of, I mean, we have had the issue in the past before we mandated the Medicare, where we had people who weren't eligible for Medicare and that was their only option. So it's not like, it's never been done.
Okay. Now, Jim, there was a reason why we decided not to, we didn't want to set any precedent, is that what it was?
Well, I think the issue was yes, that's one. And the other issue was to determine whether there might be another means by which there could be coverage provided under the HMO in Arizona. I mean, we face this situation, I would think, and I don't know this for a fact, but it would seem to me that a number of retirees from East Longmeadow would have retired and moved out of state, into Florida, for example, or to, the Southwest, someplace where they don't have to shovel snow, which I can readily agree with. And that it would seem to me that there might be a means to allow them to join an HMO in the state that they're moving to through the city's or the town's procedure. without allowing people, see, the issue really is the leaving the system and then coming back to the system. That's the thing that potentially is the expense to the community. And so if there's a means to avoid that, if you were going to allow this particular request, I think you would do it, you should probably do it and consider it in saying this is a limited window. We're going to look at the procedure and the policy with respect to how people leave and can return to the system, if at all, and then consider adopting new rules and regulations that would sort of make sense for everyone so they know the rules when they're applied.
Okay.
We do actually have one retiree who will never be eligible for Medicare on her own, and she's not married, and
Never?
basically has no recourse but if she leaves the area, but to take that plan or get coverage elsewhere. But then if she did move back, she wouldn't have.
I guess the question that's rattling around in the back of my mind, if I work for not only East Long Meadow, but let's say I work for Wilbraham or Springfield, and most municipal communities, HMO is their primary coverage because it's the least expensive, to the employee and to the city. And so when those employees retire and move out of state, are they all faced with the same situation? I mean, it just seems...
It depends on where they're getting their insurance from. If they're getting insurance from the GIC, they have PPOs that cover them everywhere in the state.
Yeah.
If they're getting it through Scantic Valley, that's the situation they have.
No, but PPO's in the state, but what
No,
about...
PPOs across the country, I'm sorry. They
Okay.
cover them wherever. The GIC does offer plans that accommodate that.
And so
We don't go through the GIC.
Santa Galley doesn't do that.
Scantic Valley, our indemnity plan is the Blue Care Elect, and it's priced rather high.
No, not the indemnity, I'm talking about
Well,
the
that's-
HMO.
It's, oh, the HMO,
Yeah.
that would cover them outside of a network area?
I mean, is there a way is some way to set up a network? Because, I mean, there have to be communities that are not part of the GIC that have retirees moving out of state.
Scantic Valley has been addressing the issue. They're gonna try to come up with another plan that can cover you anywhere in the country that will cost less money, but we're not sure what that's gonna be yet. And
Okay,
it's
so
not
they're
in
looking
place
at-
yet.
So they're looking at this, so the issue may disappear.
It may
if they
disappear,
do something. Okay.
but until it does, it's still there.
Okay. Does the board have any questions or comments? So we, in theory, could do this, and obviously we'd be saving the town money.
Mhm.
But we don't want to, with the caveat that we'll be looking at how to handle these in the future and how to
Yeah.
handle out-of-state people.
Through the board.
Yeah.
We're saving money initially, but like Jim said, it could open a can of worms where it might cost us more money too, right?
When they come back.
That's what I'm saying, looking at the, if you
Big
approve
picture.
this, to also instruct the department to look at a method by which you establish standards that are acceptable to the board as to when employees can return to coverage once they drop coverage, what the standards would be. And so it's not, I moved to Arizona for 10 years, and then I decide,
Yeah.
when my health is failing, I'm going to move back here, and now I want to come back on to East Long Meadow's plan, because the difference there, you may have saved, $5,000 over those 10 years, but you may come back with an individual who's got a health issue that's going to now cost you $100,000. So you have to, those are the types of considerations that doing the right thing at the present time may end up being a real difficult nut to swallow in the future. So that type of rule-making or policy-making is something that if you're going to allow something like this, you really have to sort of do in tandem, so you just don't open the floodgates to people just to say, well, we're going to come back now, for whatever reason it may be.
So if we were, if we were to approve this with the idea that we're going to look at, look at our system and try to tailor it, someone in the future can't come back and say, you let this person do it, then you change the rules. Why shouldn't we be, I mean, I don't want to have anybody feel like they can,
Well, if you take the vote to say that we're going to do this, we're also going to look at the rules, and if we determine that the rules need to be changed, then the change is going to be effective going forward, and anyone
in the future.
who might fit in this situation after the rules are adopted aren't going to necessarily fit, so it's not a,
However, currently, right now, if people leave the town, leave their employment, and they don't have our insurance, and say 10, 15 years later, they come back and they say, we want to be on the insurance, they can do that now. So it is an option for people who weren't covered at the time they retired.
Through the board, Paul?
see, and.
They only have a one-time chance to come on.
Probably we should be able to come out with some policy first, huh, before we take a vote on it?
Yeah, okay.
So we don't get ourselves in a jam here?
Some communities have, for example, rules that require in order for you to be carried on the municipal insurance on your retirement, that you be covered under the policy for which you want to be covered at the time of retirement for a minimum period of time, like 2 years, so that there's a period. And that once you leave, if you're not covered at the time you leave, you can't then, in the future, turn around and come back and say, I want
Yeah.
municipal coverage. You're covered or you're not covered, or you're eligible for it. And so there's a host of different localized rules that communities have adopted to try to manage these types of situations. I'm not familiar with a lot of them, but I do know that they're out there, and I know that the authority to make those rules rests with the board under the statute.
Through the chair, is there a time limit that this person needs to have an answer by? Or,
I believe their spouse's open enrollment is this fall for them to be able to go on the spouse's plan. But if they lose coverage through us, that should be a qualifying event for them to get on it. I've told them to check with their Human Resources Department,
okay.
but
So it's just, we got some time, okay.
Yeah.
So, when we do that, we'll see if we can come up with some ideas of
Yep,
all you people, how we can do this.
okay,
Okay.
All right,
thank you.
thank you. Next item is there's a stop sign request for the corner of Harwich Road and Dearborn Street. And I believe there was a good Lord, there's a resident that wrote a letter discussing the hazards in that area, and they wanted a four-way stop sign, and the police department, I believe, recommended a two-way stop sign on Harwich Road and then another stop sign down on, I think,
Dearborn and Harwich.
Yeah.
One at Dearborn and Harwich and one at Day
Dear-
Ave.
Day Ave.
Dearborn, right?
Yeah,
Day
Day
Ave.
Ave.
Yeah.
So,
And through the chair, I'm delighted that this has come up again. I do also believe that there needs to be a stop sign there, and I actually went to the safety officer and asked him about it, and he told me that it would be coming up and that he had approved it, so I'm excited that it is here.
You want me to read the recommendation, Paul? 'Cause-
no, you don't have to. As long as they get their brief
We just get a
portion of it, yeah. I'd like to propose a motion to approve the stop sign request for Harwich Road, Dearborn Street, and Day Avenue.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah,
Dearborn Street and Day Avenue.
yeah.
Excuse me.
There's three stops.
So it'll be at Dearborn and Harwich,
Yeah.
and then there'll be one at,
Day Avenue where it intersects with Dearborn.
oh,
All
and
right.
then also one at Harwich and Day Avenue, right?
No, I think it's Harwich, I think it was
Harwich and Day Avenue, there should be one there too. That's one of the main ones.
Well, that's not what they've got. Harwich Road stopped in both directions on Dearborn Street, and then a third stop sign on Day
That's the-
Avenue
When they say
where,
both directions, that is Day Avenue and Harwich.
well, yeah, but it's not a four-way, it's a two-way. So,
Right.
yeah, because they
I'm
wanted a
with you.
four-way, all
I
right.
think we're saying the
All
same
right.
thing.
All right, Board of Health.
A request from the Brown Farm Committee for a temporary food service permit for the open house on Saturday, October 31st, 2015, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Brown Farm property on Hamden Road. Application approved by Lois Lunowitz, temporary health agent, and a request to waive the fee. So I'd like to make a motion to waive the fee on a temporary food service permit for the open house on Saturday. for the Brown Farm.
So moved.
And second?
No, I'll second on necessity.
Oh, okay, any discussion?
Nope.
There are none?
And I just made the application so that we can make sure that we can hand
Yeah.
out prepackaged candy on that open house, you know,
So,
so that we're following our own rules.
all right. Got to call for a vote.
Huh?
Got to call for a vote.
Oh, yeah, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Those opposed? Okay, it's passed.
All right, if you could read our large list of meetings.
Oh, Board of Selectmen meeting on October 27th, Town Hall, hearing room.
Thank you. Our next items involve our town council, who appears to have left the room for a minute, so can I propose a 2-minute recess?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
We're back?
Non-union,
yeah.
non-union
Okay,
collective bargaining, non-union bargaining issues.
Through the chair, can I make
Yes.
one more announcement?
Sure.
We have one more announcement. It's the Retirees Benefit Fair. That'll be on Friday, November 6th from 10 to 2 at the Council of Aging located on North Main Street.
Thank you. All right, we've got 2 items under town council, they're both executive sessions, so I'd like to propose a motion to move into executive session to discuss matters of non-union negotiating, I guess they're both really non-union negotiations, to return to open session, because our meeting will run concurrently with the town meeting, so we can't adjourn, so, all right.
In the minutes of your meeting with town meeting will be the adoption of the town meeting
What you said.
minutes.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Selectman Thorpe?
Yes.
Selectman Gorman?
Yes.
Selectman Federici, yes.